Why, hello. I didn't see you there. It's Crimson Vow, baby. I didn't take a definitive stance if I'd be back or not, but I'm back. I hear the rumblings in the distance. Kamigawa approaches. But, in the meantime, I've got a little bit of time to kill, so why not go back into the crypt? One last time. Have you got your wedding invitation? I don't. Here we go. Pack 1, pick 1. Curse of Hospitality. A dud of a card. So what are we left with? How many times can we say that? How many times can we say that when we play this set? We've got Magma Pummeler. We've got Wolfkin Outcast, a 5/4 werewolf that turns into a 6/5. When it or another wolf or werewolf dies, you draw a card. Then we've got Drog Skull Infantry and Traveling Minister. Well, what if we take the 1-drop? What if we take the Traveling Minister and go into blue-white Disturb? Is that better, or is Drog Skull better? Oh, we timed out. So we're taking the Wolfkin Outcast. I'm not that upset, honestly. None of that was very exciting. Now we've got Consuming Tide passive. Each player chooses a non-land. Okay, it's a bad bounce spell. My. So what do we do? Well, there's Arm the Cathars. And even though the Lords of Limited recently bagged on this card a little bit, I have found it to be quite good, particularly in the right spot. So we'll pick that up. Well, I'm still curious if we wound up with that Wolfkin Outcast, which was not bad, but not what I probably would have picked up. Now we've got Laid to Rest, which again is supposedly an A+ build around. Not an A+, but an A build around at Uncommon. So we'll pick that up and just see how it goes. Now we get past another Wolfkin Outcast, an Eswald Shield Basher. I kind of like the Outcast. It's another 6-drop though, is the only problem. It costs 2 less if we have a wolf or werewolf, so maybe the Arm the Cathars will not end up getting there. Now what would we like? There's a Kindly Ancestor, which is white. Sporecrawler, just kind of generic filler. Massive Might, which again, listening to Lords Unlimited, they seem to think is actually a really good combat trick. Don't know if I totally see it. Could take Kindly Ancestor and leave outs to be blue-white. Or we could take Massive Might for the combat trick, or just a Sporecrawler is just generically fine. I'm taking generically fine Sporecrawler. Ooh, which is a shame because we just get past another one. It's just such a, again, because it's so generically good, I think we're going to take it. 3 drops that are 3/2s that can trade and then replace themselves seem pretty decent to me. And then we get past a Wolf Strike. Okay. I feel really good about being in green right now. Should be noted, speaking of the Lords, I'm referring to them because I listened to their 50 takes in 50 minutes. That's their retrospective about this format. I believe they said green is the worst color, which is pretty telling since it's easily the one I've drafted the most. So what does that mean? Am I breaking the format? Or am I just dog shit? We get past a very late Markov Waltzer. This card is, from what I understand, very good. And here it is with only 7 cards left in the pack. I think we're going to take an Apprentice Sharpshooter, though, to stay in green. I mentioned this with our last draft. Ooh, a Scorpion. You know how I feel about Scorpions. It's good to stay as close to monocolor as you can in pack 1, because the rares are so devastating in this set. It leaves you open, no matter what your rare is. If it's a bomb, you could move in on it, if you're sticking mostly to one color, which we have done. A late Nature's Embrace. I don't hate it. I don't hate the Nature's Embrace. It did pretty well for me last time. It's an okay ramp spell, and then in some situations, giving a creature a permanent +2/+2 is actually pretty nice. So I don't mind picking that up this late in the draft. This late in the pack, I should say. A very late belligerent guest. We could take a Molgraph Millipede, which I just don't like. We're going to take the guest. At least that's a good common. And if we happen to move into red, then that could be good for us. The guest is a 3-mana 3/2 trampler. When it does combat damage to a player, we get a blood token. So what we have so far, all green cards, except for one belligerent guest, one Arm the Cathars. So we've got high pivot potential going into pack 2. Cleaning up the rest of the pack with a Bramble Armor and a Dawnheart Disciple. Definitely not exciting cards, but they're filler and helps us cut off green. And a Mulch. Also don't mind having that. So our rare is Audric Bloodcursed, a notorious dud of a card. So, what do we do instead? Well, there's Flame Blessed Bolt. If we want to go in on red, I would probably go for that. There's another Wolfkin Outcast. So that could go with our other two, and that would be quite the package of cards. Or a Weaver of Blossoms for the ramp. That's a great question. I think the right answer would probably be the Bolt. And I'm going to take it. We already have the two Wolfkin Outcasts. We need to eat our vegetables here. Okay, and we got pretty well rewarded, I would say, because we got past in a Braid, another great removal spell. We will cheerfully pick that up. Okay, so we're kind of moving in on red here. Now we get another Wolf Strike. Yeah, I mean, I like the removal quite a lot. So we would like to pick up humans and wolves, basically. Here we get past a Belligerent Guest, Falconwrath Celebrants, and a Sure Strike. Celebrants are a 5-drop, and we actually don't have many because our 6-drops actually can cost less. It is a vampire, which isn't great, but I don't know. I like the Celebrants. Haven't had a chance to play with them yet. We get past another Laid to Rest. Okay, we've got our engines. 2 Wolfkin Outcasts, 2 Laid to Rests. We want to load up on humans, wolves, werewolves. Human werewolves are perhaps the best. And in that spirit, we're going to take a Weary Prisoner. It's a very medium werewolf, but it is a human and a werewolf, so that's good. It's a 4-mana 2/6 defender, too. I mean, it's not bad. Now we have Voltaic Visionary, which is good. We like that better, or a Cloaked Cadet, which is more card draw. I think the Visionary. It's cheaper, generically powerful. It's a human, so it's the Cloaked Cadet, but we've kind of got our more expensive stuff locked down. A Sheltering Boughs. I mean, sure, we'll take it. I'm not impressed with it, but we will take it. An Ancestral Anger. 1 mana, target creature gains trample. And plus X+O. And you draw a card. That seems bad, but sure, we'll take it. Pick up another Nature's Embraced. We got lots of cards that we can cut. There's a lot of chaff that we're getting here. Go ahead and put this Arm the Cathars in the sideboard. I don't think the white is happening. Another Voltaic Visionary. Huh. And just so y'all know what that is, it's a 2-mana 3/1. It taps and does 2 damage to you, but it exiles the top card of your library and you can cast it, and when you do, it flips that creature into a 4/3. Not bad. Okay, and in the last pack, we open a Lantern Flare, a white-red rare. Yay! Hope you can hear the excitement in my voice. Another Voltaic Visionary. Is triple Voltaic Visionary where we want to be? Weirdly, I'm going to say yes. There's also a Weaver of Blossoms, which is a 3-drop, and a human, and a werewolf. Do we take another Voltaic Visionary, or do we take a Weaver? F it, we're taking the Visionary. I just think it's more powerful. Okay, a rare. We got past one, finally. Olivia's Attendance, the only rare we've ever gotten in this format. We've gotten it again. Hooray. It is great, though. 6 mana, 6/6 menace. When it deals damage, you get that many blood tokens. Pay 3. It does 1 damage to any target. It's a good card, and I'll take it, you know? I will freaking take it. We have to beg and plead and scrap for our rares, so we will take them when we get them. Another Laid to Rest. We already have 2. There's no way we're going to have time for all these Laid to Rests. Now, there's not a lot of other stuff in this pack. Like, our alternative stat are another Falconwrath Celebrants or a Sure Strike. Weirdly, I'm going to take the Sure Strike, I think. Now what? Lacerate Flesh, 5 mana, deal 4 to target creature, and you get blood tokens equal to the damage dealt. Or a Hungry Ridge Wolf, which is just a 2 mana 2/2 wolf. Lacerate Flesh is expensive. How many creatures we got? 14 creatures. Alright, we need to up the creature count. Get in there, wolf. Another Belligerent Guest. Or Reckless Impulse. Reckless Impulse, I've heard, is okay. But again, don't mind having more creatures, and the Guest is a fine one. Fearful Villager, human and a werewolf. Congratulations, you are part of the deck. Lightning Wolf. I understand it's not that good, but maybe we take it, or do we just go with the Reckless Impulse? 2 mana, exile the top 2 cards. Until end of turn, you may play those cards. I'll take the wolf. Take another Belligerent Guest. How many Belligerent Guests is too many? Take a Dawnheart Disciple or a Wedding Invitation. Wedding Invitation, I understand, is actually pretty good. As much as I've bagged on it in the past. It cantrips and eventually gets you through some unblockable damage. So, we'll take that. We got cuts to make, friends. The Laid to Rest Wield. I mean, I'll put it in, but there's no way we're playing 3 Laid to Rests. For God's sakes. 3 4-mana enchantments that don't inherently do anything. Finish up the drafts with some garbage now, baby. Okay, draft is complete. Let's do some magical fast time deck building. Okay, deck is complete. Let's run through it real quick. We wound up keeping both Wolfkin Outcasts and Laid to Rest as our card draw engines in the deck. So the Wolfkin, when it flips, whenever a wolf or werewolf dies, we draw a card. Laid to Rest does the same thing, but for humans. And has instant life gain that can happen. I did cut one because I don't think we want to have, don't want hands clogged up with like double Laid to Rests. That's not good. We've got double Wolf Strikes for removal, alongside a Braid and a Flame Blessed Bolt. Got triple Voltaic Visionary, which is kind of the wild card of this. I haven't played with her yet, and I'm pretty excited. I think we could get some really electric openings, if you know what I mean. Because she's cheap and she will do a lot of damage. I couldn't resist keeping in a Toxic Scorpion, particularly with 2 Wolf Strikes. Little Death Toucher doing damage to a big creature is always good for a laugh. Yeah, and then we kind of fleshed it out with some wolves and werewolves, a few belligerent guests, and a Falkenrath Celebrants just because they're good cards. And with that, I think we're ready to dive into game number 1. Okay, so we go first. We have 2 mountains, a Flame Blessed Bolt for removal, a Voltaic Visionary for turn 2, and then some other nonsense, a Sure Strike, a Weary Prisoner, a Wolf Strike. I think we keep this. The Visionary being able to let us play a land off the top is very saucy. Opponent mulled. We're going to play a mountain. We've got our Flame Blessed Bolt up. In case they have some ridiculous 1-drop. They don't. Okay, that's good. Didn't draw a land, but that means we're going to play our Visionary. And hopefully get the opportunity to flip it and draw a land. Opponent is black-white. And they Gift of Fangs it. Yeah. Kind of was afraid that was going to happen. We luck out, though. We just draw the forest naturally. So we can play a Hungry Ridge Wolf. And pass it over to the opponent. They play forest, so there are 3 colors so far. And they play Oakshade Stalker. 3 mana, 3/3. Okay. Go to their attacks, go to our turn. So, what do we do here? We didn't draw a land. We could attack them with our Hungry Ridge Wolf and Sure Strike it to kill the Oakshade Stalker. Or we could play a Fearful Villager, which would give our Ridge Wolf +1/+0 and trample, and then that would offer the trade. I think we're going to go ahead and do that. It uses our mana better. They just take it, so it's 20-17. Then they go Sigardian Paladin. This is the 4 mana 4/4. As long as you've put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on a creature this turn, it gets trample and lifelink, and you can pay 3. A creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it gains trample and lifelink. It's a decent card. They're attacking us with their 3/3. And we're going to take it. Tied at 17. Let's go ahead and play our land. Go to attack. Swing with both our guys because we have Sure Strike in hand. Okay, Sure Strike. Kill the Paladin and even trample over for 2. So now it is 17-13. We didn't draw a land, which is unfortunate, so we have no other plays. We do have a Flame Blessed Bolt. Opponent still going aggro. And then nothing else. That's intriguing, to say the least. So they have something in hand, perhaps. Not much we can do about that, so let's just go for the attack. They just take it, so it's 14-6. I think we're going to play our Weary Prisoner. And yeah, we're just going to end the turn. So our Weary Prisoner is nighttime, so is just immediately a Wrathful Jailbreaker, which means it is a 6/6. They play an Unhallowed Phalanx, a 1/13, but comes into play tapped. And they're still attacking us, which we're going to take, and then they surrender. Okay. That was a pretty thorough stomping. It's nice. We've run into a few 3-color decks with no fixing, and you hate to lose to that type of deck. It feels like they're getting away with something when they go 3 colors and no effort to fix. But I would say we got them pretty good there. Pretty good. The Sure Strike is already paying off. I really think I should respect combat tricks more. Not that my opponents will have them, although you should have that in mind, of course. But more, at least at the level I'm playing at right now, people don't respect combat tricks. So you can run into them feeling pretty confident that they will react to your attacks just based on what's on the board and not thinking about what you could have in your hand. Bluffing is very hard at the level of play I'm at right now. Okay. Well, let's take a quick commercial break, and then we can get into round number 2. Sometimes, winning a game isn't about dealing the most damage, or drawing the most cards, or making any measurable contribution towards victory. But hey, just because you don't have the stats doesn't mean you're not a f***ing gamer god, alright? Enter The Intangibles, a podcast on the Geekspective Network, where me, Kenny, and my brother Matt break down all the things that are hard to quantify in games. All kinds of games. We're talking classics like Sonic's the Hedgehogs, and chess, and 3D Pinball Space Cadet. Great game, by the way. We're talking new releases like...
Insert latest trending games on Twitch here.
Single player, co-op, competitive, card games, board games, role-playing games, play-by-mail games, the Wakes. We do deep dives into our favorite games, digging into the intangibles that make them great and the intangibles that will make you a better player, and hey, maybe even a better person. Check out the intangibles on whatever the heck platform you're listening to right now. Alright, up one game, no losses so far. Let's get into game 2. Boom. Instantly found an opponent. What poor fool is up next? He said moments before his devastating loss. Well, we got some juice, though. We've got Toxic Scorpion. You know I like a Toxic Scorpion. Then we have a Fearful Villager and a Wolf Strike. That combos with the Scorpion, because it lets the Scorpion do a damage to any creature, which will kill any creature. Okay, opponent went Mountain. We're going to lead off with... Yeah, let's just show him a Mountain as well. They go another Mountain. We'll put our Scorpion out in play. We also drew a Sure Strike, the combat trick that gives +3/+0 on first strike. Also very good on the old Scorpion. They played Blood Hypnotist. 3/3 can't block. When they sacrifice one or more blood tokens, target creature can't block this turn. Triggers only once each turn. We're not scared of that. We could kill it. We could Wolf Strike it right now. I don't see any reason to. We'll wait until we see some blood. We're going to start with a Fearful Villager. 2/3 Werewolf. That turns into a 4/3 Werewolf. Menace on both sides. Ooh, second color revealed, an island. They play Lambolt Ravager, or Raconteur it starts off. 2/4 Werewolf. You cast a non-creature spell, it does damage to each opponent, and it flips to a 4/4 that does 2 damage to each opponent. So here's what I think we're going to do. We're going to attack with our Fearful Villager. Get in for 2 damage. We've got a Weary Prisoner. Yeah, let's just drop the Weary Prisoner, because it'll be a 6/6. For the moment, it's a 2/6. It can block their stuff quite nicely. Ooh, opponent plays an old favorite of mine that I've not got to play with yet, Mischievous Catgeist. It's a 1/1 cat spirit. When it deals combat damage to a player, they draw a card. The 1/1. But it dies and you can recast it as an aura that gives that ability. That's pretty neat. Drew a Flame Blessed Bolt, which is nice. Well, what do we want to do here? Could throw out the Falconwrath Celebrants. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. We're just using up our mana each turn here. There's Battlefield, we get 2 blood tokens, which is great. No attacks. And pretty soon, we're going to be using our removal spells and getting in for some damage. Let's see what our opponent's got first. A Cruel Witness, 3/3 flyer. When they cast a non-creature spell, they can basically scry 1, but it goes to the graveyard instead of the bottom if you don't like it. Okay, so we finally drew a land, which is good. It means our blood tokens are going to be more effective. So I think what I want to do is go to attack with the Celebrants. 4/4 Menace. See what they do for blocks. They block with the Cruel Witness and the Flame Bolt. Raconteur. Let's go ahead and order them like that, and then we're going to Sure Strike Toxic Scorpion onto the Racketeer. Go to damage, and got a nice little 2-for-1 on them. And end the turn. They play another Racketeer. Fine by me. Let's see. Let's go ahead and cycle our forest away with a blood. We draw a sharpshooter. Not the most exciting card to draw. We draw another land. Okay, so now we've got Sure Strike and Flame Blessed Bolt. So I think we go to combat. Let's attack with the Celebrant and the Fearful Villager. 2 attacks. Let's see what they do for blocks. They still have 3 cards in hand, which is potentially scary. Okay, so they double block using their Racketeer and their Catgeist. Go ahead and Sure Strike the Fearful Villager. I mean, he just walked into a combat trick, and it just cheerfully walks into another one. Maybe they're in a situation where they can't afford to play around him, but this is going back to what I said. I think at least where my Elo's at. Okay, so they played an Alchemist Retrieval, bouncing their Racketeer back to their hand. Their Catgeist still dies, and they just a 2-for-1 themselves again. And they take some damage. It's 19 to 14. Do we go ahead and play the Sharpshooter? Yeah, I think so. If on one of these turns no spells get cast, our werewolves are going to go nuts. Okay, we drew a forest. Do we want to just attack? They have a 2-4 and a 3-3 that can't block. We've got a lot of menace potential here. Yeah, I think we're just going to attacks. Go to attacks. We'll even throw our Scorpion out there. If they want to throw away their 2-4 for a Scorpion, they're more than welcome. Our Sharpshooter trains, it's a 2-5. Go to blocks. We still have this blood hanging out here, which will help us cycle a land. Opponent looking at what they're facing and not liking it. Alright, opponent used 2 timeouts, the full amount of time, and eventually you got hit down to 5. Let's go ahead and activate our blood token. Ditch a land. We draw another land. Alright, at least we're cycling through these. And I guess we can go ahead and play a land now. No reason to hold on to them. And we'll pass the turn. Okay, it finally became night, so their Ravager becomes a 4-4, but they really can't afford to attack us with it. We got a 4-3 menace, a 6-6, and that's it. But puts them on a really tight clock. I guess more than a tight clock. It means they have to come up with some big answer right now. Or they can do what they did last turn and just go AFK. Indeed. Time is beginning to tick. Thank your lucky stars this is edited, and you don't have to sit through it, as I must. And they've conceded. Okay, 2-0. Very nice. So far, so good. On to game 3. Crimson Vow. While we're waiting for the next match, I kind of want to go back to that Lords of Limited episode. 50 takes on Crimson Vow in 50 minutes. They had an interesting discussion where one of the hosts was talking about how he viewed, as I do, that the rares being so balmy and the commons being relatively low power level means that it's we all know it's a rare dominated format. And one of the hosts was saying he really doesn't like that, which I do not either. But the other host was making an interesting point. they'd rather have splashy rares and powerful rares, because after you play it enough times, that's what's going to add the variety and the spice to the game. And while I agree with that, I don't think that means they have to be unstoppable monstrosities to be powerful and interesting. Okay. Into the game, though. Our opponent's going first. We have 2 mountains, a flame, blessed bolt, a wedding invitation that will cantrip, and some 3 and 4 drops. That seems good enough to me. Opponent goes Plains Unholy Officiant. Do we flame blessed bolt it? I think we just pass. We'll take it out if they attack us with it, I think. But it'd be kind of cool to see if they... Maybe we'll take 1 damage. Yeah, we'll take 1 damage. Just on the off chance they play something better. They don't. Okay. So we'll bolt it, but we took a damage that we didn't need to. But I'm not too concerned. Alright, then we'll follow that up with a Voltaic Visionary. Hopefully we get to activate it this time. This is the 2 mana 3/1. Taps, does do damage to us. But then we can play a card that we exiled with it. Let's go ahead and try it out. Or we can just attack. They don't have any blockers. Let's just get in while the getting's good, huh? You know, it's so funny. I just wasn't thinking of that as part of the equation. Okay, they play Fierce Retribution and kill it. That's honestly fine. We'll just play another one. Will we ever get to do anything with these Visionaries? They're just lightning rods for our opponent's stuff. They play Estwald Shield Basher. This is the 4/2 that you can attack and pay 1 to make it indestructible until end of turn. We could Wolf Strike it. Could also just Sure Strike it. I'll tell you what I want to do. Do I want to activate it? Yeah, because we haven't hit a land this turn. We're going to activate it. We drew a land. That's great. So our Berserker turns into a 4/3. Wonderful. And then we will pass the turn. Yes. Yes. When they go to activate their Shield Basher, we can Wolf Strike it. They play Heron Blessed Geist. 3/3 flyer. Pay 4, exile it from your graveyard to make 2 1/1 white spirit tokens. Okay, that resolves. It's pretty annoying. Are they thinking about attacking? They used up all their mana, so their Shield Basher can't get indestructible. We are going to Wolf Strike it, though. Okay. Took that one out. Okay, now we attack with our Berserker. Go to blockers. They do not block. That's good. So that's 17-16. Do we play Lightning Wolf? Do we play Weary Prisoner? Lightning Wolf represents more damage on the board. So I think we're going to do that. If the Weary Prisoner could block the Geist, I would have thought of playing it, but... So, they could attack us for 3 in the air, which would be fine. We have Laid to Rest, which is looking pretty mediocre. A Sure Strike and a Wedding Invitation, so we can do some damage, we can push through damage, we can take out a creature. We've got a Weary Prisoner who can back us up at the end of the day. But it plays a Courier Bat, just a 2/2 flyer. That's it. Play our land, go to attack with both, go to blocks. They kept back their Geist, which makes me think they want to chump with it. They do. Oh, these activate only as sorceries, man. That's really unfortunate. They show they're willing to block it. It doesn't matter, though. It didn't cost us anything. We would have had to pay the Sure Strike no matter what. Regardless, their Geist is dead. They're down to 12. And now we've got 3 mana left. Not enough to do anything with, so we can play our Wedding Invitation now. Draw us a card. Belligerent Guest. Not bad. Our opponent could spend their turn making 2 1/1 spirits by exiling their Geist. They have 3 unknowns in hand. Interesting stuff, interesting stuff. This game is far from done. A lot rides on what those 3 cards in hand are. They do nothing. That's disconcerting. I mean, they could just be holding up 4 mana to activate their Heron Blessed Geist. Let's see. Do we want... what do we want to do here? I kind of want to play the Laid to Rest in case our Volt Charge Berserker dies. We would draw a card off of it. But then that's all we'd be doing this turn. Alternately, we could play the Weary Prisoner or the Belligerent Guest. Let's go ahead and activate our Lightning Wolf. Give it first strike. Go to attack. Attack with everything. Go to blockers. They could very well just be activating their Geist. No, they didn't. They just blocked the Lightning Wolf and then Undying Malice their Courier Bat. Okay. So it dies and it's going to come back with a 1/1 counter on it. I mean, sure. Okay, so they're down to 8. And now do we want to play a Weary Traveler, or Weary Prisoner rather, or Belligerent Guest? Let's go Prisoner, just use up our mana. They go Fell Stinger, that's a good one. It's a 3/2 Death Touch with Exploit. When they exploit, they draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. Actually, it's target player, but... Okay, so they're exploiting itself. That's an interesting call by them. Oh, no, they didn't. I thought they were going to actually do it. It's like they would, I think, much rather have that 3/2 Death Toucher. Okay, it's our turn. Now this is interesting. What do we do here? We could activate the Lightning Wolf. Give it first strike. They have to block and trade for something. Let's see. I think here's what we're going to do. I'm going to play Laid to Rest. We're going to activate our Lightning Wolf, giving it first strike. And then we're going to go to combat and everybody attacks. If they want to kill our Berserker, which they do, they trade Courier Bat for it. Our human died, so we draw a card off of it. Seems good. Next turn we have a Wedding Invitation to make our Lightning Wolf unblockable. We could just win off of it. They play a Doomed Dissenter. Doesn't do anything. I don't believe that they have a removal spell for the Lightning Wolf, because they would have used it last turn. So we're going to make our Lightning Wolf unblockable. Go to combat and attack with it. And they're dead. 3-0. 3-0. Yeah, baby! So what's making this deck so special? We're only 3 games in. Things could take a turn at any moment. I'll tell you, it's not the Wolfkin Outcasts, at least not that we know of yet, because we have not got to cast one. The removal has been good. The Abrade, the Flame Blessed Bolt, the Scorpion did some work. The Wolf Strikes did work. This is the Sure Strike. The Sure Strike is surprisingly good. It's really the instant speed combat tricks have really been pulling their weight. Okay, well, let's see how game number 4 goes. Opponent goes first. We have 2 Belligerent Guests, a Weary Prisoner, and a Wolfkin Outcast. Nothing to do until turn 3. And then we've got a 4 and a 5 drop, effectively. It is a good 4 and 5. I guess we can keep. The best thing that could happen to us is we draw something that we can play on turns 1 and 2. We got a Wolf Strike, which, look, I'm not sad that we drew a Wolf Strike, but I would rather it be a Scorpion or... Ooh, and our opponent is blue-white. They're the Disturb deck, which I believe is quite good. They played a Drogskull Infantry. This is a 2/2. It disturbs into a +2/+2 aura. They smack us for 2. And play Witness the Future. So effectively, they looked at the top 4 cards of their library and put one in their hand. Okay. We'll play a Belligerent Guest. Now, depending on what they have, they might have to be a little bit scared of this hitting them and us making blood tokens. Depending on what they have. Ah, they are afraid. We're just going to attack with it. They have Piercing Light for it, so 2 damage to it. And they scry 1. Okay. And then we're going to Weary Prisoner. Whew. Looked like they had something there. A Syncopate. Instead, at the end of our turn, they have Chill of the Grave. So it taps it doesn't untap, and they draw a card. And then a Scattered Thoughts. This is interesting. This is playing much more like just a blue-white control deck than anything. They hit us for another 2. It's now 16-20. We stumbled on a land drop there. That's okay. We have our Wolfkin Outcast, which we will play. They have a Dawnheart Geist. 2 mana, 1/3. When they cast an enchantment, they gain 2 life. I am not afraid. Now the question is, do we attack? The answer is yes. We're going to swing with our big man, the Wolfkin Outcast. If they have a combat trick, we do too. Instead, they just block with the Geist. So they're playing Serpentine Ambush, an awful card. So until end of turn, their Geist becomes a blue serpent with base power toughness 5/5. Fool. Prepare to be sure stricken. And you just got 2 for 1. I love 2 for 1-ing people. Let's play a Belligerent Guest. We were going to pass the turn without casting spells if we could get away with it, so we could flip our werewolves, but 'twas not to be. They play another Witness the Future. And they put, I believe, they shuffled back up some of their cards. Okay, interesting. So this is, I would say, the most interesting deck that I've faced so far. They're just playing a straight blue-white control with some really interesting cards. Okay. I think we just do exactly the same thing we just did. We go for an attack with the Wolfkin Outcast. And the Belligerent Guest, why not? We'd like to not cast any spells this turn, so we can flip our Wolfkin Outcast. But if need be, we can Wolf Strike. They're blocking the Guest. I think I'm just going to let it happen. I still get a damage through with it, which means I still get a blood token. And we go 1 for 1. And I am just going to end the turn. So I can flip my Wolfkin and I can also get my Weary Prisoner turned into a Wrathful Jailbreaker. Now I've got a 6/6 and a 6/5 in play. It's scary times for the opponent. They play Consuming Tide, the card that I mocked so much. Each player chooses a non-land permanent they control. Return all non-land permanents not chosen this way to their owner's hands. Then draw a card for each opponent who has more cards in their hand than you. Okay? So we are going to put our Jailbreaker back in our hand. Oh, sorry, I did it backwards. That was bad. What I meant to do there was keep my Wolfkin Outcast in play. That's fine. They're both 4-drops. It really doesn't matter. So they played 2 spells this turn. Do I really care? I could Wolf Strike, but it doesn't matter. I'm not going to worry about that. Goes back to day. Play a land. Play the Wolfkin Outcast. Play a Wedding Invitation. Draw a card. It's a Toxic Scorpion. Less good in this particular matchup, but a 1/1 Death Toucher is always welcome. Especially when you have a Wolf Strike in hand. They play another Witness the Future. So it's just a straight up Witness the Future deck. This is so cool. There's certainly a question, are they really accomplishing anything? But alright, we're going to keep using the same plan. We're going to attack with our Wolfkin Outcast. Hope that we don't have to cast any spells so we can flip our guys again. They just take it. 16-9. And we end the turn. They play Lunar Rejection. So this is a Werewolf Hoser card. It returns target wolf or werewolf creature to its owner's hand, draw a card. And the cleave text would get rid of the wolf or werewolf. So that's annoying. Okay. We still get to flip our lovely Jailbreaker into a 6/6. They finally do the Trog Skull armor on their Dawnheart Geist, which is now a 3/5. They don't have another spell, so we get to keep our werewolf in werewolf mode. Here's a good question. Do we Wolf Strike the Dawnheart Geist so that we can get in for 6 damage this turn? I don't think so. I think we're going to go for combat. We're going to attack, offer them to chump block. They're just taking it. They just took 6 damage to the mouth. I mean, that's an option, certainly. Alright, let's play our Wolfkin Outcast. Okay, at last the Syncopate is played. Well, next turn, they're going to need an answer to stop the Wrathful Jailbreaker. So they need to cast 2 spells this turn, which would flip it back into its more peaceful mode. Or they need to have some way for me to stop my Wedding Invitation, which will make it unblockable. They're swinging for 3. I mean, this clearly suggests that they have something in hand. A bounce spell or some other such nonsense. Well, we may as well find out first. Attack with our Jailbreaker. They have Cradle of Safety. So that's going to gain them some life. That's the secret. Damn it. We had the win. Target creature you control gets +2/+0 until the turn of its night. Then it deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Can I still do that? No, I don't have targets. Shoot. Alright, we still hit them for 6, now they're down to 1. So what do we want to follow it up with? A Toxic Scorpion? I say yes. I can block the Geist. Not that we really need to worry about that, but more importantly, it's just a second source of damage. They place the card as Imprisonment. The time has come for... Oh, we can't Wolf Strike now. We really missed our opportunity for the Wolf Strike. We could have won the game. We had the win right there. Oh, it's frustrating. They don't realize it, but if they play any creature that we could target, they're dead because of Wolf Strike. They don't know that. Okay, so we're just going to put out a bunch of creatures now. Let's put out... We could just go triple 2-drop. Yeah. So, Hungry Ridgewolf, Voltaic Visionary. They're really looking at these cards. I don't know if that's because they have a lot of text or they have a Syncopate. They have a Syncopate. Okay. So our Voltaic guy falls and we just play another one. And pass the turn. So they have one card left that they just drew. It'd have to be something pretty wild to get them out of this. But it could happen. Play a land. I think we're going to lead with a Laid to Rest. In case they try to kill our creatures here. Yeah, we're just going to attack. 3 attackers. What do they got in hand? A Hullbreaker Horror. 7 mana, 7/8. Can't be countered. Whenever you cast a spell, choose up to 1. Return target spell you don't control to its owner's hand, or return target permanent to its owner's hand. Resolve. Next. Okay, so they blocked our 2 guys, and we get to Wolf Strike, Toxic Scorpion on the Hullbreaker hole, killing it and giving our Scorpion the 2 extra points of power we need to kill our opponent. We made that a lot harder for ourselves than it needed to be. We had that win with the Wolf Strike like 4 or 5 turns ago, but a win is a win, as we like to say. 4 wins, no losses so far. Okay, well, this could be a longer series, so we're going to stop before we complete this draft. We're going to stop at the 4-0, and we'll pick it up in a future episode. I'll see you for the next one. Thanks for joining me. Toxic Scorpion rules.